Ramaya Ramabhadraya Ramachandraya Vedase Raghunathaya Nathaya Sitaya Pataye Namaha. Balakand, Chapter 1. Valmiki and Narada. This is the first chapter of the first canto of Valmiki Ramayana. This is also called as the Sankshepa Ramayana because the complete Ramayana is given in a summary in this chapter. It is also called as Shatasloki Ramayana because Shata means 100 and Shloka means verses, and this chapter has 100 verses. So, in 100 verses, the complete Ramayana is mentioned. This is a conversation between Sage Narada and Sage Valmiki. Valmiki has a question to Narada and he asks him who in this world is perfect, and he gives certain criteria for perfection. And Narada says it is Lord Rama, and he describes the wonderful qualities, the characteristics, the beauty, and the pastimes of Lord Rama. He also mentions what is going to happen in the future. It is highly recommended that when we start every canto, we offer some fruits or some sweet to the deities, and then we start listening to the canto. We follow the same principle at the end of every canto as well. Verse 1. Tapah svadhyaya niratam tapasvi vagvidam varam naradam paripapracha Valmiki muni pungavam. Long ago, when the Treta Yuga was nearing its end, there lived a sage by name Valmiki. His knowledge of the Vedas and the Vedangas was deep and profound. He had trod the fourfold path that leads to liberation and discharged the duties of his place in life to the utmost. He had the fleeting senses under perfect control and the mind the wayward monarch. And unto him in his holy hermitage came Narada one fine morning, Narada the divine sage, Narada the best and foremost of the mind-born sons of Brahma. His long life had been spent in unselfish prayer and devout meditation. The bonds of karma and material existence were to him a thing of the past. He knew no other joy than to contemplate the countless perfection of Lord of all and the deeper mysteries of the holy Vedas. From his Veena Mahati he drew forth such strains as enthralled the hearts of all gods and men, to the accompaniment of which he sang the praises and glory of the great Lord as embodied in the hymns of the Samaveda. Very few equals had he in the art of speech, so clever and convincing was he. And to him who came there, impelled by the searcher of hearts, Valmiki respectfully submitted the following questions. So this is a very long description of the first verse of Valmiki Ramayana. So Valmiki Ramayana starts with tapaha, starts with thinking of the Lord. Next is sva adhyaya niratam, always study the scriptures. Tapasvi means a sagacious thinker, he is well renowned. Vagvidam varam, that means the person who can speak perfectly. So Rama is the absolute person. And tapaha means tap alochane, the one who always thinks about the absolute. Therefore, Narada is constantly thinking about the supreme absolute truth. But what does he do to substantiate his thought process about the Supreme Lord? He constantly studies the scriptures because the scriptures are the ones that reveal who the Supreme Lord is. In the prayers of Valmiki Ramayana, one of the prayers were Veda Vedye Pare Pumsi Jati Dashratatmaje Vedaha Pracheta Sadasit Sakshat Ramayanatmanaha. When the Supreme Absolute Truth took birth as the beloved sons of King Dashratha, the Supreme Scriptures, thus the Vedas, took birth as Ramayana. So through Ramayana, you can understand who Lord Rama is. And for that, we need to constantly immerse ourselves in the study of the bona fide scriptures under the guidance of a bona fide guru. Narada's guru is his own father, Brahma. And Brahma received his knowledge from Lord Krishna himself. This is very clearly mentioned in Brahma Samhita. In Brahma Samhita, verse 5:27, this is mentioned. Atha venu ninadasya trayi murti mayi gati spuhranti praviveshasu mukhabjani swayam bhuva gayatrim gayatas tasmad adhigatya sarojaja sankritas chadi gununa Dvijatam agamat tatha. Then Gayatri, the mother of the Vedas, being made manifest, that is imparted by the divine sound of the flute of Sri Krishna, entered into the lotus mouth of Brahma, born from himself through his 8 ear holes. The lotus-born Brahma, having received the Gayatri, sprung from the flute song of Sri Krishna, attained the status of the twice-born, having been initiated by the supreme primal preceptor, Godhead himself. The purport says this: the sound of Krishna's flute is a transcendental blissful sound, hence the archetype of all Veda is present in it. The Gayatri is Vedic rhythm. It contains a brief meditation and prayer. Kama Gayatri is the highest of all the Gayatris because the meditation and prayer contained in it are full of the perfect transcendental sportive activities which are not found to be in any other Gayatri. The Gayatri that is attained as the sequel of the 18-lettered mantra is Kama Gayatri, which runs thus: Klim Kama Devaya Vidmahe Pushpa Banaya Dhimahi Tanno Nanga Prachodayat. In this Gayatri, the realization of the transcendental pastimes of Sri Gopi Jana Vallabha after perfect meditation and the prayer for the attainment of the transcendental God of love are indicated. In the spiritual world, there is no better mode of endeavor for securing the super excellent rasa bedewed love. As soon as that Gayatri entered into the ear holes of Brahma, he became the twice born and began to chant the Gayatri. Whoever has received the same Gayatri in reality has attained his spiritual rebirth. The status of a twice born that is obtained in accordance with one's worldly nature and lineage by the fettered souls in this mundane world is far inferior to that of the twice born who obtains admission into the transcendental world. Because the initiation or acquisition of transcendental birth as a result of spiritual initiation is the highest of glories, inasmuch as the jiva is thereby enabled to attain to the transcendental realm. So, from this verse, translation and purport, it is very evident that Lord Krishna initiated Brahma using the Kama Gayatri that emanated from his flute. In the 15th chapter of the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sage Narada describes to Yudhishthira his previous birth as a Gandharva by the name Upabarhanaha, who was cursed to take birth as a Shudra because he one sang the glories of the Devatas instead of the Supreme Lord. Then the Prajapatis cursed him, saying that because you have committed an offense, may you immediately become a Shudra devoid of beauty. In the verse 73 of that same chapter, Sage Narada describes, although I took birth as a Shudra from the womb of a maidservant, I engaged in the service of Vaishnavas who were well versed in Vedic knowledge. Consequently, in this life, I got the opportunity to take birth as a son of Lord Brahma. Tavadasyam aham jajñe tatrapi brahmavadinam Shushrushaya anushangena praptoham brahmaputratam. And of course, as a son of Brahma, he receives the initiation from Brahma. Why is all this information absolutely important? In Bhagavad Gita 4.2, Krishna says, Evam parampara praptam imam rajarashio viduh sa kalaneha mahata yogo nashta parantapa. This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost. So Krishna himself emphasizes that the knowledge be transferred in disciplic succession or parampara system. So right from the Supreme Lord to Brahma, and now from Brahma to Narada, and then from Narada to Valmiki. So this is a proper disciplic succession that has been established over here. So when Valmiki says that Tata Swadhyaya Niratam Tapasvi Bhakvedam Varam Naradam Paripapracha Valmiki Munipungavam. When Valmiki himself says that Narada is a tapaha, he continuously does svadhyaya, he is a tapasvi and he is perfect in the way he speaks. When Valmiki gives all these wonderful descriptions of Sage Narada, he wants to establish Narada as an authorized guru. Narada has not only taught Valmiki, he has even taught Vedavyasa. He has taught many people, including a hunter by the name Mrigari. But over here, of course, we are going to concentrate on the relationship between Narada and Sage Valmiki. It's also commonly known that this is not the first encounter that Sage Valmiki has with Sage Narada. Previously, when Valmiki was nothing but a dacoit, a plunderer who used to kill people, he had the good fortune to meet Sage Narada, who asked him to chant the name Rama. But Valmiki was unable to do so. Therefore, Narada asked him to chant Mara, Mara, that means dead body, dead body. But Mara, 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 Mara eventually turned to Rama, 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 and thus Valmiki was purified. And therefore, one fine day when Narada returns to Valmiki's ashrama, which is the start of Valmiki Ramayana, Valmiki and Sage Narada already have the relationship of the Guru-Shishya. And we have already established the fact that Sage Narada is a true guru because he comes from the proper disciplic succession from Krishna to Brahma, Brahma to Narada. And now, what is the tone of enquiry that Valmiki has for Sage Narada? It is paripapracha. It is humble enquiry. In Bhagavad Gita, chapter 4.34, Lord Krishna says, Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadikshyanti te jnanam jnaninas tattva darshinaha. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. This becomes evident from the later verses of the same chapter when Valmiki asks him to reveal who is the perfect person. But over here, we need to pay more attention to the word pariprashnena. Pariprashnena means by submissive enquiries. So the purport is as follows. The path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one can be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam says, Dharmam hi sakshat bhagavat pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is a secret of advancement in spiritual life. Enquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, enquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd enquiries are condemned. One should not only hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and enquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind towards the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and is always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and enquiries becomes perfect. So now let us apply this purport in this particular verse. Valmiki has already surrendered to Sage Narada, who has surrendered to his father, Lord Brahma, who is a devotee of Lord Krishna, who is none other than Lord Rama himself. Therefore, Narada is following the perfect disciplic succession, and so is Valmiki, because he has accepted a proper bona fide spiritual master, such as Sage Narada. He is making a submissive inquiry as to who is the perfect person. And we will go more about that in the next couple of verses. But this is his humble inquiry. And what is the seva? The seva is to write and compose Valmiki Ramayana. That is the seva. And a person who follows the disciplic succession, the person who makes humble inquiries of his spiritual master, the person who serves his spiritual master in the interest of learning more about the Supreme Lord, is in fact a Muni Pungavam, a very great sage indeed. This concludes the first verse of Valmiki Ramayana. We will read the beginning of the descriptions of the perfect person in the next couple of verses.